May Vespa nga, di mo na magamit. Hi, welcome back. We're finally taking this Vespa for its first service after 1 month. Though if this thing has only run 135 kilometers pa lang, sobrang kuripot within 1 month. Well, it's been really raining, the weather hasn't been good, it's been busy at work, kaya ayun, di ko pa nga talaga nalalabas ng Metro Manila to because also the OR and CR also just got released a few days ago, so hindi rin talaga may biyahe. But finally, thank you for Vespa Scout Borromeo for processing the paper, and they said it was 2 months, but it got released in a month, so that was a welcome surprise. So we're taking it now for its first service. I don't know what they're going to do, but I will let you know after the service. But I have a few initial impressions lang about the Vespa. So if you've been following my other videos, like I mentioned, it's not really a practical scooter because if we're going to consider the cost, it's not necessarily a better commute or a better scooter, but it is a pretty scooter if you're into this type of look. I don't think it's hard to argue that the Vespa is all about its look, its heritage, its classic lines, you know. But what do I like about the scooter? Now, I've talked a lot about the performance of this scooter. I keep telling it's not really a fast scooter, but the engine has nice torque, which is for city driving is what you need. You want to be able to zip in and out, get ahead of the cars as soon as possible, and this one has it. It has that torque. Ang nabibitin ako is once I reach 80, it takes a while for it to actually get more speed. So bitin siya sa top end. It does have the low end torque, but it doesn't have the high horsepower to get me to the higher speed in some cases that I want. But as a city bike, I'm good with that. I'm actually pretty happy with the performance of the engine. I haven't used it long enough to actually judge the fuel consumption of this, but based on what I've loaded, and it's still closer to 3/4, it's definitely a lot more economical than the cars and than the big bikes. Now, what else do I like? The headlight of this is actually, all the light is LED. Ang ganda, it's really strong. I don't think you need to upgrade. Since I don't really like the look of adding auxiliary lights, I haven't had the issue of wanting more light. So good thing this Sprint came with really good headlights already. So that's something I really like also about it. What else I like? Side mirrors. These side mirrors are solid. I've tried other motorcycles. Yung dito, yung alam mo, konting mausog mo lang ng konti, they get thrown off already. This one is pretty solid, pretty hefty. No issues at all. It doesn't vibrate like crazy. So visually, I can see a lot from my left and from my right. And so really nice solid ones. What else do I like? Ano pa ba? Well, storage wise, so at least you get a nice glove compartment here below, and then you have an under seat. So it's actually pretty good storage. You have ample storage as compared to like other classic scooters, like I think the Royal Alloy. they only have the glove compartment and they don't have an under seat, because I think the gas is where the gasoline is located under the seat. But this one has a pretty good enough storage space, but the storage space under the seat can only fit a small 3/4 helmet or a half face, but a full face like the one I'm using, or even my Bell, the full face, it's not gonna fit. So if I wanted a way to secure a full face helmet, I have to go with the top box option. So yun lang, ang maganda doon sa top box option is you can actually order a genuine part from Vespa that is perfectly color matched. What else do I like? Well, yes, the paint job. This has a really nice paint job. The color, the deepness of this blue, it really is, you can tell it's a premium work. Tapos yung wheels also, the 12-inch wheels front and back. I like the design of the wheels. The tires, the Maxi's tires are surprisingly grippy. I haven't had an issue with grip. I think for my skill level, this is more capable than my skill level. So I don't think I need to upgrade my tires for the sake of better grip. What I will change to is, hopefully by next time, is more for looks, because I do want to change to the Mitas with the white sidewall, and that's purely because of aesthetics, not for performance. Because the Maxi tires on this is actually pretty good performers. No complaints at all. Pretty quiet. Now, what do I don't like about this Vespa? Well, like I said, like with the engine, it has nice good low end torque. It accelerates pretty fast, but it's missing some top end speed. So I'm not sure if that's something that can be remedied with the variator upgrade, but I don't want to be upgrading until I think I really need to. But for now, I'm pretty happy. But if there's anything I want, it's something like a taller gear, like an overdrive, to get me higher speed, so it won't have any problems getting me past 80. What else do I don't like? I don't really like the suspension. I find it too bouncy. My main comparison is when I drove the Peugeot. The Peugeot was more plush. But the sad part about it being plush, meaning very soft to ride, very comfortable to ride. But the sad part about it being plush, meaning very soft to ride, very comfortable to ride, is when it corners, wallows. As compared to this one is, though it's stiffer, but it feels more planted during corners. What else do I don't like? One complaint of my passenger is it feels tight. I think this is a small scooter considerably. And the seat is actually, I feel like it's good for a single seater. A passenger is good for short rides, but for long rides, it's definitely, it feels too cramped. I don't know if it's just my size, and I think I fit pretty average, and I'm not a tall rider, but it feels tight. It doesn't feel comfortable for the back rider, and especially if you don't upgrade the foot pegs, the passenger foot pegs. Your passenger is really going to be complaining of how difficult it is, because the foot pegs, it doesn't really have any foot pegs. It just has a place that you put your feet in, but it's stuck inside too much that your passenger's feet is pointed inward. So ang nangyayari, when they put their feet in the original passenger position, they get cramps. So you have to shell out, which sadly is any parts for the Vespa is not cheap. I had to shell out around 3,000 pesos for the Buzzetti foot pegs, but it did make the passenger seat or the passenger more comfortable riding the pillion. So that's something that you need to look into if you do ride a passenger occasionally. One other thing I don't like is the brakes. The front is strong but requires a pretty heavy pull. I would wish it to be more sensitive, because this one feels like in an emergency I have to pull really hard to get the brakes to stop it. And I need more than just 2 fingers to really do a big pull. How I wish that would be softer. Now for the rear is actually much softer, but it's not powerful. Remember, this is still cable actuated drum brakes at the back. So I think that should be something Vespa should be looking into upgrading at a premium price, at a premium level. It should be disc brakes all around, and if possible, ABS all around. But I understand not putting ABSs at the back to reduce the cost, but at least put disc brakes at the back. We are already paying a lot of premium for the Vespa, and yet we're not getting premium parts, which is supposedly dapat disc brakes front and rear. Another thing I don't like generally for Vespa ownership is accessories are really expensive once they put the name made for Vespa or for Vespa. So if you're going to compare like parts, it's a lot cheaper to accessorize something like that Honda Click right there, or an NMAX, or a Yamaha Aerox, as compared to accessorizing something very similar, maybe like a fly screen or upgraded foot pegs. It's a lot cheaper if you're buying parts for those Japanese and for those Korean, for those Japanese and for those Taiwanese branded scooters, as compared buying something that is made for a Vespa. Kahit hindi original Vespa, I just feel like when it's made for Vespa, there's suddenly that premium price to it. So I think that's part of the things we have to accept as a Vespa owners, that parts and accessories are going to be more expensive. Kaya nga sabi nga, if you really want the best way of maintaining your Vespa, learn to DIY, so that you don't get charged the premium. You can buy the filter, you can buy the oil, and then you do your own service, which I plan to do once the first few free checkups, the free services that came with this. I know I just have to pay labor because all the consumables are free for the, I think, first 6 service. They did give us a coupon when we purchased it. So that was part of the purchase price, is the free consumables for the service. So if I don't send the scooter now for the first month service, sayang lang, di ko magagamit yung free consumables. So might as well. And hopefully the labor is not that expensive, but I will let you know later after this we go through the service. Oh, another thing with the throttle cable, I'm not sure if this can be adjusted, but parang ang haba masyado ng play ng throttle. Since this is not really, like I said, diba? Hindi naman siya ganun kalakas na engine. You pretty much have to go 3/4 to full throttle when you're trying to evade. And the problem is you have to really twist your throttle a far away. So I don't know if this can be shortened so that mas konti. Kasi ngayon, nakakangalay sa wrist compared to when I'm riding the big bike, because they're a big bike. I don't need to go full throttle to get me the power, the speed that I need. This one, since I have to twist the throttle farther more often, nakakangalay siya gamitin. So I'm not sure if this is something that we can shorten or fix the mas walang play Diba? But I'll check with the service later kung it's that something na ano, or if that's the standard talaga of not just the Vespa but mostly of the small scooters. No, when I'm riding this scooter, ang pinakatakot ko hindi kotse. Kasi yung mga kapwa kong motorcycles. When I'm riding kasi the big bike, they won't cut in small spaces between you or in between you Palaging they'll give you room Pero pag nandito ka sa Vespa, grabe, magugulat ka lang. Kalit-lit na space. Minsan dito, bigla may katabi ka na. Magugulat ka na lang Oh, this Vespa has pretty decent sounding stock mufflers No, hindi siya sobrang tahimik So, parang wala akong, I don't think I want to upgrade it anymore except for yun nga, just for the looks, just for the show. But in terms of the sound, I don't think I want my scooter to be loud. I want it to be loud enough that people will hear that you're there, but not too loud that it's na nakakapagod. Kaya ito, this is just good sound Kasi meron nga nagbebenta second hand, I think it was the IXIL na exhaust. Mura lang binibenta na second hand. May mga gas-gas but 11,000-12,000 lang from 20,000. But isa pa, pag maliit ka na bike, baka naman ma-checkpoint ka pa at ma-complain that you have a modified exhaust. Look at the throttle play sagad-sagad pero you're not really moving fast. Kaya yun yung nakakangawit dito. Medyo jumpy siya Naka-schedule yung 1 month. Okay, first service done, and precisely as I predicted, to maintain a Vespa is not cheap. So may kasama nga siyang libreng oil and oil filter, which is free during your first service, but labor, gear oil, and grease are all charged separately. So overall, first PMS, libre yung oil filter, libre yung motor oil, I still had to pay 1,600, which I think is a little bit high when you compare it to the first PMS of, let's presume, a Yamaha or a Honda. But how much? Would love to hear your comments. How much is, to those who have similar motorcycle like an NMAX, ADV, Aerox, magkano ang first PMS nyo? Magkano yung ginastos nyo sa kasa? How much did it cost? Diba? Well, I guess that's really part of the ownership of the Vespa eh. Yun yung wala kang magagawa masyado eh. But of course, if you're going to DIY, it's very doable. You can actually bring it to non-casa na mga motorcycle shops. It's probably they're probably still charge you a little bit more than what they would charge a Honda or a Yamaha, but it's not going to be as expensive as the casa ng Vespa, diba? But you void the warranty, or it can be grounds for them not accepting any warranty down the road. So I plan to at least fulfill my service using Vespa for at least 1 year, but this is to make sure this is my experience with cars also. If there is going to be any warranty issues, it's usually going to show up in the first 6 months to a year. After 1 year, most of the time it's no longer a warranty issue unless it's a recall. But if it's a recall, then kahit na hindi mo sa casa pinagawa, they have to cover that. So, yun, 1,600. So, there you go. First PMS, and hoping na yung next one is mas marami ng mileage. I've had time to put on more mileage. Kasi ngayon talaga walang oras to use it eh. And from and it's going to be the burst seasons na, the holiday seasons, and it might start to get busy again for my other line of work, which is sa photography. So ay nako, may Vespa nga, hindi mo na magamit. Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you for watching again. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. And I'll see you again next. Bye!